Chapter 263. Two Kinds of Blood. Heavenly Buddha Palm. Brahma Heart displayed his 8-armed Vajra combat state and struck out a heavenly Buddha palm with his strongest power. And a golden Buddha appeared behind him, the golden Buddha palm ruthlessly suppressing the white flame giant. Fighting Fist of Victory. Battle Heaven and Earth. Shaojin roared out and directly went berserk. After half a year of bitter cultivation, he had long since comprehended the third stance of the Fighting Fist of Victory, Battle Heaven and Battle Earth. This move was incomparably powerful, especially with Little Gold going berserk. The power it exerted was so powerful that even Kangchon did not dare to block it. The three of them erupted at the peak of their battle power, jointly suppressing towards the white flame giant, the powerful force causing the void to tremble, forming a terrifying storm of power. Within the palace, blood-red flames danced in the eyes of the white flame giant. He carried a sword in both hands and plunged it straight into the ground. Immediately, the earth trembled and the entire palace swayed and shook. An unrivaled aura erupted from him and shot straight into the clouds. Kill. The third prince of the dragon, Little Gold, and Brahma Heart all coldly shouted in unison, bringing with them matchless power to kill. And this piece of emptiness instantly shattered apart. Right at this moment, the white flame giant moved, his eyes bursting with blood light, and the divine sword burning with blue flames in his hand was raised high, slashing straight down in an overbearing stance to meet the joint attack of the three little jinn people. Powder shatter true hollow. The white flame giant bellowed as a matchless force erupted from within his body, rushing out along the divine blade in his hand like a shocking wave, sweeping through the entire palace, colliding with the attack of the three little golds. Boom! The impact of the two powerful forces erupted with a heaven-shaking sound. The entire palace shuddered, as if it was about to collapse, but there was a force in the underworld that shielded the palace, blocking the aftershocks of the power of all the people on both sides. Puffing, the aftermath of the waves dispersed. Three figures flew out backwards. It was certainly the small gold three people. Their faces were pale, blood flowed out of the corners of their mouths, and their eyes still carried the color of horror and despair. Defeated, the three of them had joined forces for the strongest strike. Yet they had also lost so miserably. Number Wonder Kangchon had been forced back by a single blade just now. Kill. The white flame giant looked indifferent. He took advantage of the victory to pursue the attack, and swung his blade once again, still shattering vacuum. The fierce blade power enveloped the three of them, but the three of them no longer had the self-confidence to resist it. At the moment of crisis, a purple figure flashed out. It was Kangchon. Boom! The light of Kangchon's blood saber flourished as he killed with a single slash, skillfully driving the white flame giant's saber awnings and drawing it away, saving the three little Jim people. He didn't fight hard this time, so he was only shaken back in his body and didn't suffer any serious injuries. You guys quickly exit. While being shaken back, Kangchon hurriedly shouted, letting the three Shao Jin people escape the palace, while he himself rushed up once again to block the incoming white flame giants that were killing them. Brother, Little Gold was instantly in a great hurry, unwilling to leave. Quickly go, as staying here will only drag him down. Without us, he can naturally exit peacefully. The third prince of the dragon droned. He had gone through far more storms than Little Gold, and was very calm at the moment. Brahma Heart on the side nodded and said, Little Gold, Dragon 3 is right. You are staying here will only drag your brother down. Upon hearing this, Little Gold then relented and reluctantly left the palace, along with the third dragon prince and Fan Xin. I must become stronger. Outside the palace, the three of them appeared outside the palace's aperture. Little Gold's complexion was gloomy, a hot flame pulsating in his eyes, and there was an urgent conviction in his heart that he had to become stronger. If he was strong enough, he wouldn't have let his brother alone, that powerful white flame giant. Strength. He needed strong power. Little Gold's eyes were scorching hot as he looked at the palace in front of him. An invincible battle intent surged within his body, and in the underworld, it seemed that he wanted to break through a limit. If at this moment, Xiaojin wasn't worried about Kang Chon's safety, but was seriously experiencing his own state, it was very possible for him to break through the shattering vacuum realm with the help of this battle intent. Unfortunately, his mind was full of Kang Chon's safety at the moment. His entire mind was inside the palace, his face anxious. Where was his mind to experience his own state? At the level of Kang Chon, Xiaojin, Brahma Xin, and the third prince of the dragon, the physical body could break through the smashing vacuum realm at any time. But it was just a matter of different opportunities for individuals. Xiaojin's opportunity came early, but unfortunately he missed it, and then he didn't break through the crushing vacuum realm until the time he left the spirit, sealing space. Of course, this was just an afterthought. At the moment, the three of them had their eyes tightly looking at the palace gate in front of them, looking forward to the moment when Kang Chon rushed out. But unfortunately, after half an hour, Kang Chon still didn't come out. What's going on? The three of them were puzzled in their hearts, and Little Gold was even filled with anxiety. "No, I want to go in," Little Gold roared. His body came out and rushed towards the palace. This time, neither the third prince of the dragon or Fan Xin blocked anymore. Instead, they followed together and rushed towards the palace. However, they were greeted by a matchless divine light. A blazing light erupted from within the palace, blocking the three of them, and in the next moment, a rumble rang out and the palace doors closed. "What's going on?" Little Gold hissed madly, hissed huge golden fists fiercely bombarding the palace gates, yet the gates were tightly closed and could not be opened. The third prince of the dragon and Fan Xin were also puzzled. No one expected the palace gates to suddenly close. One fist battles the heavens. Divine battle unrivaled. Battle heaven and battle earth. In front of the palace gates, Little Gold went crazy and bombarded the huge doors in front of him, his eyes burning with blazing flames of fury, until he ended up bleeding from his fists. He didn't blast open the palace gates by half a crack. "Xiaojin, calm down." The third prince of the dragon and Brahma Heart came up to stop him. The two were very worried if Little Jin would go off the deep end at this rate. "Piss off. It's all of you who made me go. If I don't go out," Xiaojin roared madly and blasted his fist at the third prince of the dragon and Brahma Heart. The two were caught off guard and were blown out. They, who were already seriously injured, sprayed out a mouthful of blood once again. "Leave me alone." Seeing Fan Xin and the third prince of the dragon seriously injured and spitting out blood, Xiaojin's complexion regained a trace of clarity as he coldly shouted at the two of them and once again blasted the palace doors in front of him. Not far away, the third prince of the dragon and Fan Xin, who had been blasted out by Little Gold, looked at each other and were both filled with bitter smiles. "Forget it. Leave him alone for now. He's in a rage." Brahma Heart sighed. No one could have imagined that it would be like this. It wasn't that they were afraid of death. If they could, they would rather face the battle with Kang Chon inside the palace. "Well, let's also recover our injuries quickly. Although this place is sparsely populated, there's no guarantee that there won't be people coming. It's better to recover our injuries earlier." The third prince of the dragon nodded and said. The two immediately meditated not far from the palace to recover their injuries. Little Gold, on the other hand, kept bombarding the palace doors. He knew that the white flame giant was powerful. Even if Kang Chon was strong, he wouldn't be able to support it for long. Unfortunately, what Little Gold didn't know was that the scene within the palace at the moment was nothing like what he had imagined. While the three of them were exiting the palace, Kang Chon had indeed suffered a fierce attack from the white flame giant, after he had struggled to support himself for half an hour. That is, when the three of them, Xiaojin, were preparing to charge in again, everything changed. First the palace doors suddenly closed. Then the white flame giant suddenly disappeared, as if it had evaporated from the earth. Only Kang Chon was left standing in the middle of the palace alone in shock. His surroundings plunged into boundless darkness, and only his body was emitting a faint purple glow. What's going on? In the darkness, it was incomparably silent. Kang Chon even clearly heard his own heartbeat. His eyes blazed. His stern eyes cautiously surveyed the surroundings, yet all he saw was darkness. Dang 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 dang. Suddenly, Kang Chon's heartbeat became more and more violent, and that feeling in the underworld became more and more intense. The Kang Chon hegemony blood in his body completely boiled, as if it was about to burn up. Instantly, the aura on Kang Chon's body grew more and more powerful, as if he was about to break through to shatter the vacuum. This feeling, Kang Chon's heart was filled with doubt as his stern eyes scanned the surrounding darkness. Suddenly, his eyes stared, and in the darkness in front of him, a drop of deep purple blood appeared at an unknown time. This blood exuded a palpitating aura, but he felt a sense of blood connection. This is essence shown in Kang Chon's eyes. His intuition told him that this drop of blood was unusual and had an inexplicable connection with him. However, without waiting for him to go forward to investigate, the purple blood suddenly erupted in a burst of blinding light, followed by a majestic voice resounding within the palace. "Young man, having passed the test of the Force God Palace, you are qualified to receive my inheritance." The majestic voice filled the entire hall. Kang Chon snapped and realized that underneath the purple blood in front of him, a silhouette slowly emerged. And although his face could not be clearly seen, that great and vast aura had long since come over him. A mysterious palace appeared in the endless sea of fire. This was a great opportunity. In the heavenly city battlefield, a shocking news circulated amongst the invincible level powerhouses. At first no one believed it. After all, there were many people who had been to the endless sea of fire. But as more and more people learnt about it, the news was gradually confirmed. Palace, it's definitely some senior's cave. Maybe there are some techniques and treasures. This is a great chance. Maybe there are heavenly treasures inside that will allow me to break through the shattering vacuum realm. How can we miss such a chance? Everyone's gone. It can't be fake news. Let's put up a fight this time before we leave the spirit sealing space. In the heavenly city battlefield, more than 300 peerless powerhouses rubbed their fists and palms together as they prepared to head to the endless sea of fire. However, they weren't idiots, knowing that with the presence of figures like Demon Heaven, Kang Chon, and the third Prince of the Dragon, it would be difficult for them to get a piece of the pie. So many of them looked for familiar friends to join forces. There were 3 or 5 people in a party, or a group of 10 or so. In short, very few people acted alone, and they all looked for friends to join forces with each other. Of course, there was also a group of people who defected to Devil Sky. They were the largest force. There were more than 50 invincible powerhouses, coupled with Devil Sky, a supreme being. There was simply no one in the entire spirit sealing space to counteract them. At this moment, Devil Heaven then prepared to set off to the endless sea of fire with a group of peerless powerhouses. He believed that this time, with the strength of all of them, he could definitely break through the palace's defenses and obtain the treasures. Gentlemen, I, Devil Heaven, I am not a brutal and unreasonable person. This time I will not enjoy the opportunity alone. If I have meat to eat, you will at least have soup to drink. Devil Heaven looked at the crowd of invincible powerhouses in front of him and said majestically. The 7 heroes of Heavenly City beside him almost choked at the words. This tone was barbaric and unreasonable anyhow. But they were too lazy to care anyway, as long as Devil Heaven didn't dare to target them. You are not rude. The following group of invincible powerhouses looked at each other with slander in their hearts, but they were also clear that following the Devil's Sky would at least have soup to drink. Otherwise, with their strength, They wouldn't even have a chance to drink soup. Big brother, the scouts I sent out have not been able to find Kangxion, the third prince of the dragon, and the others. And I heard that even those few underlings of the third prince of the dragon don't know where he's gone. Devil Peak frowned and said, "There is such a thing." Devil Heaven was slightly surprised at his words. Windless, among the 7 heroes of Heavenly City, also said at this time, "I didn't find them either. It seems like they suddenly disappeared into thin air."